Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si G. Tonji. 10 araw na lang po at Pasko na. And of course, it's Wednesday, kaya naman meron tayong mga balita mula sa Asian Journal.
Asian Journal, the leading Filipino-American newspaper since 1991.
Umiinit ang ating hapon dahil kasama natin si Annie Nepomuceno at dala niya ang maiinit na balita.
Oo nga, mga maiinit na balita mula sa Asian Journal. Ito na, the Los Angeles Unified School District, or the LAUSD, the nation's second largest school district, canceled classes on Tuesday, December 15 at its 900 charter and K-12 schools after receiving a credible threat of violence. The threat was sent via email to several school board members on Monday evening and was later traced back to an IP address in Frankfurt, Germany. It reportedly targeted students and implied a threat of explosive devices, assault rifles, and machine pistols to all LAUSD campuses, Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck said, prompting district officials to close down the schools for the day. It also mentioned backpacks and packages left at school campuses, though none of the schools were named. Schools have now been reopened today.
Okay, this was very big news yesterday, and even my children were complaining why they had to go to school because they aren't in the LAU Unified School District. But it's always better to be safe than sorry.
And everyone was like scrambling around, like they were worried, and people were asking, where is this threat coming from? So it seems like a malicious attempt. You know, it could be, I don't see why this could be, how this could be a joke.
Right.
You know?
But to think na pwedeng isara ang buong district ng eskwelahan. I mean, that's big news.
Yes, that's true. And it comes in the heels of the San Bernardino shooting. I guess the superintendent wanted to be safe. That's sorry.
And we just have to make sure that we explain to our children about safety and the reason that the schools were closed down. Okay, let's move on to our next story mula sa Asian Journal.
The nation's highest court has been debating a landmark case regarding U.S. affirmative action in college admissions. And experts say it is a policy that continues to benefit Asian Americans, despite some critics who say otherwise. The Supreme Court appeared sharply divided last week as conservatives, including Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr., believe that using affirmative action in admission decisions is unneeded and unconstitutional. Supporters of the affirmative action in higher education are fearful that the court might issue a broad ruling in the case that would curtail a public university's ability to consider race in order to produce a more diverse student body. This historic case comes after Abigail Fisher, a white student who was not accepted to University of Texas, Austin in 2008, challenged UT's holistic review policy that combines race, ethnicity, and class rank with SAT scores and other factors. Fisher claimed that some of her classmates were accepted based on the color of their skin.
Ooh, this is a very touchy subject.
And it looks like it's going the other way around, right?
Right.
With a white student complaining.
Yes.
That,
well, I was able to see the documentary called #WhitePeople. Gumawa po niyan yung ating kababayan na si Jose Antonio Vargas, and he explores this. There are people of I mean, you can't call someone white, right? That's a color, right? Of Caucasian origin that are complaining na hindi nga sila makapasok sa, or they are not able to get scholarships because nga they truly believe na nakukuha ng mga taong mas diverse yung scholarship. But there's so many factors, grades and background.
Yeah, it's really a challenge because sometimes, you know, you can always point to race, ethnicity, but there are a lot of other factors involved.
But I have to say, in applying for colleges, and I just know this for a fact because I just graduated like 5 years ago. You too?
Recently,
but say that you're Filipino American because I think that there are hardly, you know, we represent our own community when we say that, right?
Yeah, and I guess what she's saying is that because if you have an ethnic background, you're probably more apt to get accepted because they're looking for diversity.
Right, okay. Well, let's move on to our last story.
20 years later, a climate change agreement has been met after 195 countries over the weekend adopted an accord to tackle the global problem. Under the accord known as the Paris Agreement, individual countries have committed to slash emissions and pledged to assist poorer nations to adapt to the damaging effects of a warming planet. It also sets a long-term goal of capping the rise in global temperatures to below 2 degrees Celsius, or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, above pre-industrial levels, while calling on nations to try to limit that increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Another win in Paris was a grant agreement worth 1.5 million euros between France and the Philippines, which will take place throughout the next 4 years. Under the agreement, the Philippines will build ecosystems and community resilience in the central region of the country.
All right. Well, we're hoping that, the emissions in the Philippines they are able to be reduced. Kasi talaga naman, nung nandun ako sa Pilipinas just a couple weeks ago, hindi ka talaga makalakad sa kalye pag nasa Manila ka kasi sobra talaga yung usok.
Yeah. My father was one of the first environmentalists in the Philippines. No, he was a scientist. He was with the Department of Natural Resources. And then, you know what? That really has been a concern even in the 70s.
Yes, pero hanggang ngayon, concern pa rin. 10 days to Christmas. Maraming salamat for joining us. Thank you, Annie. Magbabalik kami with the Filipino Freethinkers.